Okay, hello.
Good morning, Leanne. How are you?
Yes. I am maybe a little behind. No, I guess I'm okay. Looks like we're kind of all entering early. It's been an interesting morning already. So, Marnie, I don't think I know you. Tell me about yourself.
Hello. I am not a nurse,
It says
but
forwarding pause.
yep, I'm not sure why. Okay, it should be going now.
All right, thanks. Sorry to interrupt, Lillian. Oh, you're on mute
She's,
now.
yeah, she had to take a call or something real
Oh,
quick.
oh, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Any thoughts, questions?
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, you're back.
She's back.
Yeah, I've got health care that comes in to look after my mom. I had to make sure they open the door there for her. Yeah, so what we need in the marketing area is like, it's great. I can do some videos and stuff like that, but we need somebody in the area of taking those videos, editing them, creating whatever. I I take direction from Nurses Transforming Healthcare in the sense that what do you want me to say? What do you want me to message? Who do you want me to talk to? And then I can create those videos and those opportunities. And then from there, we need somebody to actually know how to edit and do those. That's a big need here. The other piece that I think we need, Nurses Transforming Healthcare, not that I think we need, I know we need, is money. And we need somebody at the advocates of the big voices. For example, Leanne, when I hear you talk about, if we can get 10% of the universities to do this, um, who do we have that can make those calls, that can introduce this so that these universities know that we have this need, um, or not even that we have this need, that our communities have this need, right? And the nurses who are available to do this. I've spoken to one nurse, for example, who said, yeah, this would be a great thing in the community, but I can't just make this happen. We need money. Like, it's a nice idea, but how do we get the money, right? So we need somebody who actually believes in what we're doing here and is has the money and can fund this. And it's not the people like the people from Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, because they're looking for, how does this give me money, right? Those are not the people we're looking for. We're looking for people who are philanthropists, who have the funds to help make this real. Like you said, Leanne, it's going to take time, but what are the things we can do? I love the approach of starting with a community that maybe can get funding, or starting with universities who have funding to get this going. And then let's get out there in the public and start talking about what's happening.
I definitely think that you mentioned the data point earlier. I think that, how we present data has been my most successful way of thinking about it. And because that bridges across the money spenders and, and out of money into healthcare. The earlier when you were talking, Leanne, you mentioned about a connection with big American healthcare, so maybe CDC and Medicare, um, and what data are we sending to them? Would seem like the data that's going to also, whatever they're asking for, to say, oh, this is great, send me more data. Whatever data that is, seems like it might be something we could develop to become a
I,
tool.
I think I might have sent to you, I'm pretty sure I did, the By Design article that Kathleen Bartholomew wrote. She sent that to one of the former heads of Medicare and Medicaid. He was very interested in it and started really promoting her. In fact, he wanted her to put it in the JAMA magazine, Journal of American Medicine Association, which is for doctors. But she went through, I think, 32 rewrites for them. And they finally, at the end of it, would not accept it because it promoted nurses doing the wellness kind of work. And they even had paired her with a doctor, because a nurse couldn't just, write in JAMA, even though she'd already published in JAMA years ago. But just, that idea that there are people who have done this work in healthcare and Medicare and Medicaid, and all of those people have been beating their heads against the wall that are looking for something new and are getting excited about this. So, and most of the people, as we talk to people from all different venues, even doctors, as John talks with them, it's like over the 20 years he's been developing and perfecting this, he has answered every question anybody could possibly come up with. And we often end up with people coming back and saying, this sounds really good, but again, where's the data and where's the money? And so that's what we felt like we needed to really focus on. And that was not a skill of particularly me. Some of the other people didn't have the time either to do that work. So that's what we're looking for, is people that can come together, help us promote this, help us work on the areas that we don't know about. Data is an interesting one, because what we realized is that nurses have been leading these kinds of nurse-led clinics, especially through universities, for 25 to 30 years. But that data stayed connected with the university and was never shared. And even as we asked now, can we, start to collect and share this data? No. So it's the shooting ourselves in the foot kind of thing that, we seem to keep doing in healthcare. And that's what we're trying to work our way beyond. Where are the people that can think beyond what we've always been doing and help us get there? So
I had a thought as you were thinking about the
Great.
funding. Vanderbilt, and I've heard on the news, with Doge and everything that they're doing to throw away grant money and not give it to the universities,
Sure.
is creating a lot of havoc. And looks like Vanderbilt's going to be downsizing quite a bit because of what's been going on. So when you're talking about funding, what came to mind to me was, and I'm not a fundraiser, but what came to mind to me was the alternatives, and Hay House, which is a publishing company that publishes a lot on health and wellness, might be a partner. And I'm thinking,
You know anybody there?
No, I don't. I'm thinking that alternative people who've already been trying to work outside the system might be funding partners.
Yeah, those are kind of the people I would like to see brought in too, the chiropractors, the, roughing, all the different things that have been working on their own and have been pushed back by the health model that we have now. I do have a few people that I could connect with on that, and I haven't really gone forward on that, but you're giving me a good idea that that might be a good thing to pursue.
I'm just looking them up right now on Google, and their mission essentially is that they're a company dedicated to supporting positive change in the world by helping all people to grow in mind, body, and spirit. So yeah, I think, and then they obviously they offer the products and resources that empower, educate, inspire. So I think definitely if we can reach out to them and get in contact with them, they could definitely.
Do they list anybody that's a connection person on it?
Well, there's a foundation that I'm looking into as well, who they help. Oh, this is donating to them, but yeah, we'll do some digging.
Okay.
If I could think of some others, I'll be happy to pass that along.
Yeah, please do.
Mind Valley comes to mind also, and they're also
what is it?
Wellness. Mind Valley.
Mind Valley.
I think
But I am just wondering if you'd have more luck, really, because the universities are kind of in the same system you're dealing with that is not supporting nurses. That maybe you have to look outside of that to people who are interested in health and wellness, but aren't connected to the system that now exists.
Right. There's a lot of, tendrils that we could look into. All of the four of us had been, pretty much occupied full time in whatever else we were doing in our lives. And so that was another reason to bring in new people, and another reason why I was thinking of people who are in a retired or semi-retired state where, you know, maybe they're tired of golf and sitting by the pool and, you know, going out to eat, and they realize, you know, I have some really great knowledge that I could share and maybe, you know, break through some of the challenges that we've got right now. So, you know, if you know people like that also, my email is Leanne, Leanne, at onceanurse.com. I can put it in
Please.
here too. It's probably easier than trying to just write it down. Um, okay. That comes from my show, Once a Nurse, Always a Nurse. Um, and you know, anybody that you're talking to that is, you know, either, you know, complaining, as Lillian was saying, you know, I find that a lot is also when I'm finding people complaining, I'm saying, what are you doing? You know, what is your idea? What, you know, and oftentimes they do have ideas, but they just hadn't even thought of taking them beyond. And partly that's because anybody who is working in healthcare right now is exhausted. And more they're looking at about, how do I get out of here? How do I leave here? And maybe as the two coaches, you may be finding that a lot too, that you're helping people with, I'm not where I want to be. Where do I go? And I hate to lose all those people. Some of them are just such incredible, you know, practitioners in their own right. And, you know, we'd love to be able to tap those brains and those ideas and those frustrations that they've had and see what we can do with them.
So can I ask you one other question? 'Cause
Certainly.
I think you had mentioned that you're kind of reaching around the world with this, and Leanne being in Canada. So are you looking to create kind of a worldwide movement here?
Yeah, actually, I don't know, Lillian, have you met, you've met Darlene, right? Schindel?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So actually, Darlene, fairly early on, I think in the first year that we were working, she started to see our work. She also is a nurse in Canada, and she and her cohort, Anne Jordan, had started something very similar to what we are, but hadn't gotten as far. And so Darlene started kind of connecting with us to be able to see how they could move forward. And we also have a nurse in India who was involved in the military initially and then started working in hospitals where, you know, there's chaos in the hospitals. The nurses were not being appreciated and not listened to. And so she was brought in by the owner of the hospital to try and clean up the situation and get more collaborative work happening. And once she completed that goal, I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay, check that off and move on. She decided she wanted to go into the government and see if the government, she could help the government get to the point of seeing nurses as wellness and, you know, prevention advocates. Instead, her daughter had a baby and she got involved in that. But we have people in Australia, there's people from Mexico. We've had people all over that are saying, yeah, South Africa. We've had, you know, people coming in and saying, yeah, we have these problems too. And this sounds really interesting. So I almost feel like as we start to move forward and have something concrete that we can share, that there will be people around the world that are going to want to be a part of it. One thing is, I guess the World Health is one, you know, since our government has disconnected from them, it might be that that would be a way for them to keep, you know, some kind of connection into the United States. So I haven't sought that out yet, but it's one of the things that my personal situation is I spent the last 4 years taking care of my mother as she was dying, and she died April 1st a year ago. And then my health was in terrible condition. And so I've spent this last year trying to get my own health back. And I really feel like I've just now got my feet back. I'm starting to get my feet back under me and feel like I can now take on a little bit more than than what I had before. So we'll see where it all goes.
Leanne, you and I are in the same boat. I've been dealing with this since my mother passed away in 2015, but it's been going for a while.
Yeah. Well, I've spent my
The last
adult
8
life-
years, my coaching business has gone on in the back burner because I have not been able to keep up. So like you, I'm hoping I can make some progress forward at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think that you could be very beneficial to us if you are interested and want to know more about what the different committees are. Emily put in the chat, if you're interested in joining a committee, this form, actually there are links in the form that you can link on that says what are going to be the charges that each of these committees are going to be working on. And so it may give you an idea, or you may even have an idea of something you could contribute to the committee that we haven't thought of yet. So we're taking those, what's the word, applications now, and looking at, how we can build our group so that we have people that are functioning independently in the different committees and then coming together to the large group also.
And
So,
looking at that, I looked at the education committee. It'd probably be something I would fit into more, maybe.
and that's one we need.
Yeah, but again, what I have to offer that way is not nursing.
Well, there's an awful lot in education.
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
So I'm a nurse. Our board members, one of them works kind of alongside healthcare in the admin space and philanthropy space. One of them is a PhD in English and does a lot of writing and promotional materials, but is not a nurse. The 4 co-founders are nurses, and I'm a nurse. And then some of the people on committees are nurses, but not all of them. So we take all walks of life.
Yeah.
If you have a skill, so like Sarah, I know you're a nurse practitioner, you said, but or a CRNA, but like you have a passion in apps and business, right? So we need those other sorts of perspectives as well, because nothing's going to happen with just a very tunnel nurse vision focus. We need a much bigger perspective.
Even the data aspect that you talked about being interested in, that's one. We have a man who has been very interested in this, and now his business has taken off. And he's been working with Jean Watson. Some of you may be aware of her. She is I think in her 90s now, but she has spent her entire life working to develop research on how caring in healthcare promotes health. And he wrote a lot of books with her where he was the data guru, and she was the one doing the research and traveling all around the world. So he was very interested in working with us, but again, time element. I think that he would probably help us if we got to an end product where we were trying to create something that could go out to the masses. So there's a lot of people that are kind of on the fringes that have that kind of ability, but not the time. And so we're trying to find people who not only have the ability and the time, but the passion to want to help us move this further faster. Because my nightmares revolve around this whole healthcare complex just disintegrating. When we started this and when COVID started, I was thinking of healthcare, and I've been thinking of it for years, but hadn't really done anything about it, as a house of cards. And that nobody wanted to pull any card because the fear was the whole thing would collapse. And I think it is collapsing now all around our ears. There's so much complaint, there's so much problem, there's so many things that, with the insurance companies that were supposed to be helpful, and now they've gotten into a very money-focused pattern that they're not even wanting to approve care that has been designated by an authorized doctor. This needs to happen now. This person can't survive. This person needs to have this to, improve their, and, arbitrarily, it seems AI is sometimes saying, no, we won't permit this. And so it has to be some doctor or somebody's time resubmitting and resubmitting and resubmitting to have things done. And we've even been hearing about doctors who have been stopped in the middle of operations and told that this operation would not be paid for unless that happened. You're in the middle of the operation. It's not. This is not set up conducively to having good outcomes and being able to utilize the time and the energy and the talents of the people who are trying to do this work in a way that allows them to continue doing it. So we're just going to keep burning out the people that are doing it until we have nobody left. Or we have people left that are not capable.
I think
So-
where we need to be very clear is in the plan of action, like the whole plan of where are we heading, and so we know the direction, we know the North Star,
Right.
but where's the, what's the next smaller North Star that's going to get us there, and we have to be very clear instead of, I think energetically, because I work a lot with energy as well, energetically we need to put out, we have a mission to do this by this date, which means that we need somebody who works with apps, somebody who works with editing videos, somebody who does whatever fundraising. We have all these needs, and that's our mission right now, is not to try to get not the cart before the horse. In other words, instead of putting energy into saying we need to contact universities to practice this methodology, the first task is we need to find the person who's going to make those calls.
Right.
So we need to almost slow down the process and bring it back so that we're more realistic, because I think sometimes we and it's collective. It's not just, one person here or anything. It's a collective thing. There's a need to be very clear on what the next mission is.
I agree, Lillian. Thank you so much for bringing us back to point.
Yeah, well, because we get into the dream phase. The dream phase is it's so captivating, right? And then we get off the calls, and then we're like, okay, so what did we accomplish here?
Yeah.
How do we get? And so even before we say we get this person to do fundraising or to make the calls to universities or whatever, what's our tactic to get those people? Are we advertising that on social media? Is that where maybe we need to be focusing first, is getting those people to support us on this dream mission?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want it to be a dream anymore. We want it to be a reality in action.
Right.
So anyway, that's my thesis. I'm just kind of.
So of the two of you that are here, I know Lillian is already completely on board with us and working with us. Is there anything here you see yourselves being interested in, or people that could be interested? And if so, please do share this interest form. We're sending it far and wide, and very interested in what people are getting back to us on. My goal, just partly from, where I am physically, mentally, emotionally, is I do the best in connecting people. And so that's what I love to do, is reaching out to you guys on social media and anywhere I'm meeting people and all of those kinds of things, and then trying to just, grow that beyond. So that's where my joy is right now, is to be able
Well, that's
to.
your strength. That's your strength, Leanne. You are the connector. You've always been the connector in this group. So that's amazing, because had you not been in that role, we wouldn't have connected with a bunch of people that we have. So I think that kudos to you for bringing that strength into this group, because that is truly your strength.
Any suggestions for us or thoughts? I mean, you've already been making some suggestions that are very helpful. Anything else that, you can think of that can help us have some new direction or new excitement? not to put you on the spot. We're really so happy to have you here. It seems like we're kind of coming to a natural end, and I hate to, prolong just to, go to the hour, but I would love to be able to talk with each of you, on the phone or, anything like that. So if you'd like to do that, I'm starting to set up again meetings with people, and I would love to be able to do that with Sarah and Marnie.
Sorry, I'm in the midst of a huge leg cramp.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
so
sorry
sorry.
about that. I'd be happy to talk to you later.
Okay. All right. You've got my
Okay.
email, so let's
And
let's
I put my information in chat also.
yes,
Sorry
and I
about
have
that. Due to this body, I've got a
Yeah.
horrible cramp going on. Sorry.
I wish I could help you. I have that problem also. So, anything else you want to say or share with us before we say goodbye? And happy Mother's Day to everybody who's a mother. I'm not, but I have grandchildren, so I kind of skipped that part of being a mom. Actually, I guess I've been a mom probably my entire life to anybody who came near.
I was going to say you're definitely probably a mom to a whole bunch of other nurses.
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very, very much, and good luck, Marnie. I hope you can relieve this problem quickly. All right. Take care.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.
Nice to meet
Thanks,
you.
Emily. Much appreciated. And Lillian, thank you so much for coming on.